Oh yeah, what's going on? Literally, this is like a minute later. I thought to mention that yesterday I saw some of the OTOY productions that with a serial number that seems like a star date. It's not. It's a serial number, but I looked it up as a star date. It's the 3088 in the future. 80. Yeah, and the latest one was a Kirk meets Spock in the Nexus memory wall thing in the other universe, because Kirk is in the Nexus, but he's also in time and through space time, and his essence can be anywhere. So he goes to meet Spock in the other timeline, and Spock is dying in the other timeline. It's remarkably similar to a Cillian episode that we did, in which we rescued Spock. It's called Old Friends, parts 1 and 2. One of the books, one of the chapters, 2391. The crew goes back into the Kelvin timeline and rescues old Spock just before he died. They copy his essence, so he stays dead, but they upload his consciousness into it. I don't know, kind of like the Gollum robot from Star Trek Picard. Bring him into the future so he can live in the future. In the 2391. Kind of like what they did on Picard in 2399. So anyway, they do this Kirk one, where there's Kirk and they got Saavik and they got all that. This is sort of, it's not really a review of that episode. I watched it. It's not really a review. I watched it twice. It's that there's a scene in that story that is similar to what Shatner was talking about at the GalaxyCon, and now we can reveal it because it was like one of those things we could reveal. Now it's aired, so you can see it. So yeah, Kirk reconciles with Spock by going to the Nexus, where an old version of Saavik is waiting there, played by Robin Curtis, because Kirstie Alley's dead. Robin Curtis, the other Saavik, and there's a Vulcan standing next to him, a Vulcan, older man, who they're all old, so it's clearly like the 24th century. It's clearly 100 years later at least for her, respectively. And Spock is her son, and that's supposed to be Spock's son standing behind her. So that's supposed to be. Also, you have the alien from the alien Cillian lizard Termarellian looking dude from the other universe in there. As the Starfleet guy, he's there. He's a traveler. He was from Discovery this season. That's why he was there. He can appear in the other one. The Phoenix thing from the other thing and all that. And of course, the scene where Kirk encounters Kirk from Captain Kirk and Admiral Kirk in the memory wall thing, going across time and space, is remarkably similar in a way to the convention gag and Where No One Dared Go Before over there on the Chimera channel. Remarkably similar. There's a reason it's similar. We look at the same thing. Yeah, that's how we do it. So in this other timeline, Kirk's spirit reconciles with Spock's spirit in the other timeline, and they get back together. Watch the sunset. So, yeah, they're there. Cool. Yeah, it's the Roddenberry archive that did this, and we kind of knew some of it was going to be done. Didn't know what specifically, but something was going to be done. We knew from the other one when they showed them going after the saucer section, which is not consistent with the Silly Trek saucer section, that was going on. But also we knew they're going to do something like that because Spock goes to Kirk's grave in the other short fan film. We weren't involved in this fan film, but it's remarkably similar. So they're trading off notes and saying like, okay, we're not going to copy Chimera's stuff, and he's not going to copy ours. But what's he going to do with? Well, we won't go there. We'll use action figures in ours, so it won't matter. We don't have a Saavik in our. We do. Saavik is in that scene too. So there's a parallel in Where No One Dared Go Before, in the final Legacy episode last season, in which there's a Saavik, but she's Saavik as we know her from command of the starship, the Shangri-La class Titan. She's that character. She's younger in that scene, and Kirk is younger in that scene, and he's also the monster maroon Kirk, and the other Kirk shows up, and they're all together, and there's a Spock in there, and there's another Spock, and they're all in the memory wall and at the convention in the story. It's remarkably similar. So if you want an expansion of the OTOY story, you can watch mine. Okay. Yeah, and even if you don't know all the characters, you can go back and watch the other Legacy stories and then figure out who the characters are. Yeah, so I just thought I would throw that in there at the end because that was cool. They did that, and they're following our stuff because they've been following our stuff ever since the Next Generation started, really, for 37 years. So why not follow our stuff even more? Well, yeah, it was awesome. So yeah. Except the original Cillian story was more blunt, like they'd literally clone him and bring him back. We didn't go that. They didn't go that far, but yeah. In this other universe, but if you figure if there are travelers involved and stuff, maybe Saavik is one of them, and she's like, yeah, a traveler. And the Spock's son could have been later when she married him, because Spock did get married. Sarek's son is mentioned at Sarek's wedding. Picard was at Sarek's wedding. So yeah, that would have been that. Yeah, so and it was supposed to be Saavik that Spock marries, so it wouldn't be Valeris. That wouldn't make sense. Maybe he adopted her, but no. Originally in Star Trek VI, Roddenberry was very old and sick at that point when they were producing the movie. He was old and sick. But the couple of things he did say is that there's the racism angle. Kirk wouldn't do that. They kind of went there anyway with the Klingons. And he also said Saavik wouldn't be the bad guy and be revealed to be the turncoat. It has to be somebody else. So they replaced the turncoat with Valeris, made up a new character. It's originally supposed to be Saavik, which would have been more tragic and messed up. She raised the ship. That's why that other scene with the drinking from the goblet thing, it's like a prenuptial kind of thing going on. Which would have made it more interesting. And they would have had to change some lines near the end to say, oh, I did this for the Federation or something. And then she would have gone back to Spock, and that's the other version of Star Trek VI, just so you know. So yeah, and Nimoy was done doing them, because clearly in Generations, Scotty and Chekhov was supposed to be McCoy, Scotty was supposed to be Spock. They're supposed to be in Generations. But they didn't want to do it anymore. They said, oh, we're done doing it. Only 3 years later. Yeah, but yeah, it was an odd movie, but yeah, the fans were disappointed at the Generations thing, I think. I just thought I'd add this aside. They're saying like they finally reconciled that, and there's a connection with my Cillian stuff. So I thought that's pretty awesome. We'll see if there's any more connections with Cillian space in the rest of Lower Decks, the remaining 4 episodes. So we'll see. There are.